to me now because, I speak in front of groups like this, 20 people, 1,000 people, 3,000 people, and it doesn't bother me anymore. But in '05, oh my goodness. Now, we all come with our own issues, right? Some of us have more issues than others. I know I had way too many issues. So much so that in '05, I had never heard of networking, right? Because I had closed myself in. Now, before that, I had started a retail store in Houston. I come from Houston. I grew up in Stinkadena. That's the Pasadena area. Some of y'all know that. Yes.
I still think I knew you in high school.
You did. If you did, you wouldn't know because I try to keep myself away from everyone. I had built a beautiful wall around me. And some of y'all know what I mean, right? You bricked yourself in to keep the world out. It was easier because I had a horrific childhood. When I became an adult and I had my retail stores, of course, retail is hell. Who's worked in retail before, right? You know what I mean. I was robbed and tied up when I was 6 months pregnant. I had cancer. And those are the good things. So when I say I know how hard it is sometimes to get yourself out of those fears, I really do know because I've been there. Now, when I started networking in '05, it was because I was cold calling, and I went into a store, and they're like, "You need to go to the Chamber of Commerce." I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" I had never heard of the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know where they were in Stinkadena, but they weren't coming to my store. So I went. Now, no one said that people would smell new, fresh meat when I walked in. Y'all know, right? New person walks into the chamber, into a networking group, they're like, "Oh, someone new I can try to sell." And so everyone's like rushing over to me and handing me their business cards, and I'm handing mine. And then I go home and I'm like, what do I do with these? And then the person at the event said, "Oh, you need to go to a networking group." And I'm like, "Ooh, what's that?" Now, no one told me that you had to stand up in front of 20 people who were all looking at you to say who you were, give your elevator pitch. So my very first elevator pitch sounded like this, and this is truly what happened. I stood up, everything was shaking and sweating, and it was awful. And I said, "Hi, I don't remember who I am, and I don't remember what I'm selling, but buy something from me today." And I said, "Yeah." Now, because of that, I looked at myself and I'm like, okay, back then I was about 38. I'm like, seriously, I'm 38 years old and I can't stand up in front of 20 nice people without shivering? How am I going to change the world if I can't be in front of the room? And so I wrote down every fear I had. And it was a long list. I wish I had kept the list because I wrote down ridiculous things. One of them was men in suits and ties. I don't know. It just freaked me out. I didn't want to go up to a man, especially in a tie. Especially if he had one of those vest things on. Ooh. I wrote down every single one of them, and in '05, I started going through them. And what you start realizing is it's never as bad to go through your fear as you put it into your head. Okay? And amazing things happen when you take action. And so when I started networking, I was like, okay, I can figure this networking thing out. And one thing I remembered from my father, he always said, you don't know until you ask. And it's never about what you know, it's about who you know. So I looked around at all these networking groups, and I overdo everything. I completely admit that I'm a workaholic. And I joined 54 different networking groups and chambers of commerce in Austin. So those who think they know how to network, yeah, we can talk. So one of the things that I started looking at is people who network. Have you noticed that? You go to a group, you go to a chamber, it's the same people. And people stand out, and I'm like, wow, you know, here I am, I'm shaking over in the corner, and I'm just waiting for someone to approach me. And I see Susan walk in. She was the networking queen in '05. Someone may even know Susan Morrow. Does anybody know Susan Morrow? No? A couple of y'all. So Susan would walk in, and people would run over to her and give her a hug, and, oh, I got a referral for you. Oh, I love what you said last week. I mean, they were so engaged in Susan Morrow. And I said, how can I learn what she knows, and how can I become something that she is? Okay? So I had found an incredible quote, and I'll share it with you. It's, life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. So who do you want to create? Because all of a sudden I start going, oh my gosh, all these years I've been trying to figure out and find who I was when all I had to do was go create it. So I took Susan and I said, Susan, I'm going to make a secret group. And I'm going to invite the networking queens of Austin in this group. Now, I was nobody at the time. She didn't even really know who I was. But she liked me, and I said the magic word. Well, Karen's going to be in the group, too. Now, I hadn't actually asked Karen yet. But, of course, she goes, well, if Karen's going to be in it. And then I went over to Karen and said, yeah, Susan's going to be in this group. And so I ended up with the networking queens of Austin. And what I found is they weren't even anyone special, but they knew how to engage. So quickly, I went from introvert to Susan and all these other fabulous women pulling me along. Oh my gosh, you need to know Tonya. Tonya, come over here. And that was the most brilliant thing for an introvert, is to have extroverts walk you around. So if you have a hard time going to conferences, events, networking, find someone who has no problem walking up to everybody in that room and have them introduce you. Okay? Now, for those who don't believe me that I haven't been that way, this is my lovely lineup over the years. As you notice, my hair has gone dark, and has gone light, has gone up, has gone down. But in '05, OMG, what was I thinking with my hair? Now, as you can see, it's always been about the hair. But you can tell I have changed. I go from an introvert, as you can totally tell. I'm like, I look like my mother there. And I slowly changed myself to who I wanted to become. By 2010, I was speaking internationally. This is from someone who couldn't say a word. So anybody can do it. It's brilliant when you start realizing how you can turn people you do not know into not just a client, but a VIP client, okay? Now, why do I do this? This is my kids. My daughter just started college. Oh, she's got the love of her life, for now. He's adorable. My son is 10. He just found Minecraft and thinks YouTube is totally cool. And he's home right now because he got a free day out of school. He was very excited. Now, what you have to look at is to look at your ideal client. Now, most people's ideal client is someone who's breathing, someone who has the money to spend. If you're a realtor, someone who wants to buy a house. No. Right. Someone who wants to sell a house. But that's not my ideal client. And I'm going to challenge you in changing your ideal client. So my target market is positive people. It is so much so that I have a rule that you have to be nice. No mean, grumpy, negative people allowed. I had started that in '07 with my networking group that I had created that was statewide called Your Local City. They sold it back in 2011. So all of my organizations, the Organization of Power Partners that I'm running right now, the Public Speakers Association, this is the first rule. Did you know that as a business owner, you can make your own rules? It's so brilliant. It eliminates all the people you don't want to deal with. I don't want to deal with mean people. Make your own rules. success-minded people, okay? My first coaching client who came to me wanted to be the second best realtor in Blockhouse Creek, Leander, Texas. The second best. I couldn't deal with it because to me, why wouldn't you want to be at least the best? Okay? So I want people that are very fast-moving and success-minded. Wants to learn something new. Have you ever met somebody that was very comfortable with what they already knew and they already pretty much knew everything in the world? Not interested in those people. I want people who are hungry, just like me, right? I want to always be learning something new. Tired of not making at least 6 figures? I was talking to a lady the other day. I said, you know, minimum it should be make at least $10,000 a month. She looked at me and goes, I've never even made $5,000 in a month. She's in her 60s. I'm like, what are you waiting for? Okay? Loves what they do. Have you ever met the person? You're like, hey, what do you do? They're like, I'm an insurance agent. You're like, nice, bye. I want people that are like, oh my gosh, I do this, I'm so excited, I can't wait to know you, right? I want people who are engaged and love what they do. I also want people who love being connected. What I found is, like Patty was saying, when you connect with people who are connected, you get connected. It just equals out because those people get it. That's why they're called connectors. Patty is nominated for the Global Collaborator of the Year in an upcoming event. I'm nominated for the Global International Connector of the Year, something like that, because we understand collaboration. We understand it's not just about us. That's why our lists keep growing, because we want to know Ken, right? We want to know Mike. We want to know all these amazing people. So when you find someone who loves connecting, don't just take their business card and go home, okay? Actually have some coffee with them and ask them who else they know, right? I went to James Malinchek's event. I got to meet, you know, Marsha Cross from Desperate Housewives and Patricia, what's her name? Patricia Heaton, thank you, from Everybody Loves Raymond. It was so much fun, right? But you don't let it stop there. You continue the conversation. And most people think, oh, they won't want to talk to me. I'm nobody. How will you know unless you talk to them? Most of the people I reach out to, they have a cell phone, and I say hi. They're like, oh, hi. Most people are nice. Most people do want to connect with you. But if it's, hi, I want to sell you something, they're going to close down and they're going to walk away. So it's about connecting and helping. Okay? But get connected with really amazing people and people that are different and who have different audiences. Right? It's not just the same people over and over again. They've got new people for you to know. I also want to find people who love to try new things. I just launched the radio show not too long ago. It gets 30 million listeners. Okay? Maybe not at the same time, but I figure even 0.5% is 150,000. So that's pretty dang good. I bought into the system. When she gave me those numbers, I said, it's a no-brainer. But I was scared. I had a radio show back in '06. And one of the things in my fear list was my voice. Who hates their voice? It was a big issue for me. It's always been a big issue. So I thought, well, if I'm on the radio and that's all they're hearing, I'm going to have to get over this issue with my voice. And so I contacted the radio station, and they're like, yes, we've got a spot for you. I went to a networking group. I told the group, I'm so excited. I'm going to have a radio show. I'm going to have all of you come on. And they were all excited. And then one of the ladies, one of the leaders of the group, walked over to me and whispered, oh, Tonya, you can't do that. You have a horrible voice for radio. I ran to the bathroom and cried. Because it hit that button. Y'all have a button, right? Something that you're like, oh, I knew it, I knew it. What happened is I went to that radio station. My husband was going to be the main person, and I was going to be the backup. And when we were talking to the producer, he goes, now, Tonya, you need to be the first person, and your husband needs to be the backup. I'm like, wait a minute, that's backwards. He goes, no, no, you've got the memorable voice. Your voice stands out. I'm like, I know. So it ended up being a great thing. So much so, I was at a huge event, at a huge auditorium in a hotel, speaking on the microphone. I've got a loud voice. And in between, when everyone was quiet, it was lunchtime, a lady came in. She ran over to me. She goes, oh my gosh, Tonya, I knew you were in the hotel somewhere. I heard your voice downstairs. So it's not always a bad thing when something seems weird. The more weird you are, the more you stand out. Okay? So my target market is just like me. So you want to look at your target market. Do you even match who you're going after? If it's not a match, you're probably having a hard time. And you're probably not relating to the person in front of you. Okay? Now I do a whole lot of events, do a lot of speaking, and it's interesting because I get asked to speak at a lot of African American women's conferences. And frankly, a lot of times I'm the only white chick there. It doesn't bother me. I love it. Now I know coming in, like what Patty had said, there's going to be, oh, I think it was you, Ken, there's always going to be a percentage of people that's not going to like you immediately. There's 20% at least in here that don't like me right now. I don't know why, what can you not like? But you just have to get over that. And then especially for you ladies, we have a harder time. Guys, my husband's like, who cares? But you just know right away. So when I go into especially events like that, I know there's at least 20%, if not more, that just doesn't like that I'm even there. So what do? I focus on the ones who do love me being there. And those are the ones I do business with. Okay? Now there's 3 potential new clients for you. Okay? Oh, could you hand these out? I've got a couple sheets for you. Oh, hand me one so I've got a fill in the blank one that you can take home and take notes on and everything. The next sheet is a great free copy for you. It's on how to make $1,000 in 1 week, because I keep hearing people, I don't have any money. Well, make some money. The next one is a drawing giveaway. I'm giving away a full membership to the Public Speakers Association to one lucky person today. And then there's a coupon in the back. Okay. So now you have something to take notes on. So there's 3 potential new clients for you. The first one, those who are ready to buy today. Don't you love them? Yes. I love them. You walk up to them and they're like, oh my gosh, where do I sign? You're like, oh, well, let me get the paperwork out for you. I mean, how brilliant are they? When you meet them, send them over to me. All right. What you have to remember is just because they're ready for you, they're not going to be ready for someone else. It's like, you know, one time my purse broke at an event. I needed a purse like that day. So of course my lady's like, hey, I've got purses for sale. I went over and bought one. Okay? But the next week I don't need a new purse. So a lot of times it's just timing. Okay? But there are people, their personality types is decision makers. They want things and they know what they need and they're ready to jump on it. Okay? Then there's those who want everything for free. I don't want to give you a percentage for my real estate deal. Do I have to? Is there a way that I can do it without paying you? Really? Do not send me these people. And it is frustrating, right? Then there's people who have to research everything. Mark, there's one lady here. Okay. There is people who have to research everything. This is my husband. He's an analytical, brilliant man, He does website development, software development, all in the business realm. So when he looks at things, he has to break it down. Finally, I'm like, okay, we gotta make a decision on this. So there's some people who do want all the information. What's brilliant about these people is once you've covered all of their checklists and answered all their questions, most people won't ever go through that whole process with them, but once you do, they will love you forever because most people will not go through that entire process, right? So yes, there are pain, but they're a beautiful pain. With all of these personality types, you do have to remember that everybody is different. And they like to be sold to differently. Even, right, we do a lot with our customers, especially on the web, because most people's websites is one-dimensional. It's got one voice, and it's usually yours. So if you're analytical, your website looks analytical. If you're a social butterfly and you just want to, put out fun things and pretty pictures, that's the way your website looks. Okay? It doesn't usually have multiple personalities in it. So a lot of times you lose people just because they come to your website and they don't get what they're looking for. Or it's too much. And they're like, oh, I don't have time to read this or watch this, 2-hour video or whatever. So you have to look at personalities of people and adjust for them so that they want to buy from you. I'm a sales trainer, so it's fun. Now, there's the sales funnel. Free at the very top, a whole bunch of people, all the way down to VIP. Now, everybody's sales funnel is different. Okay? Some of you don't have a funnel, you just have a layer. Don't you love that? So, stop with the layering. That means you're one-off selling. Here, I can sell your house, bye. I like to more think of it as building a skyscraper with a courtyard. So, when you're looking at your courtyard, this is your free area. You want everybody to come there. That's social media, your email marketing, your networking. It's the people who know you and want to keep in touch with you but aren't ready to buy. You have to have a gorgeous, full courtyard. Because I know some of y'all only have 50 people in your courtyard. And that's not enough people looking at your building. So they have to look at your building the whole time. That's your business. They got to continuously go, I love that building, and I eventually want to walk in. Now what happens too often is too many people make such a gorgeous courtyard that they never want to walk in to the building. So there is a fine line to your courtyard. Now, when you're looking at your building, the first floor I always think of as a bar. It's a party. It's the $1 to $50 range. It's easy, right? It's where you can have your books, right? Everybody needs a book. If you're a realtor, mortgage company, I don't care what you are, you need a marketing book, okay? It is brilliant. It sets you apart. It could be CDs, it could be a webinar, it could be whatever. It entices them to come from the courtyard. It's an easy buy. They come inside, they belly up to the bar, they get your drink, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best Ken Renner drink I've ever had. This is the best Patty Farmer drink I've ever had. And they drink it, and they love it. And they holler at their friends out in the courtyard. They're like, oh my gosh, Mike O'Neill's drink is so fabulous. I love his book. Yay. So what happens though is they finish it. Where's that menu? Oh, there is no menu. You don't have anything else to sell them. Most people who come in want to belly to the bar forever. So you continuously slide them over a new drink, a new webinar, a new book, a new CD, a new event, something, because they want to stay there. They really don't want to go back out to the courtyard. But most of you want to sell, and so they go back out in the courtyard. That's the hardest way to build a business. Because now, it was already hard to get them to come in. Now you got to drag their hinds back in again. So keep them belly to the bar, because those are the people that's going to continuously go, hey, come in too. Right? Those are the testimonials that you're getting and all. And those are the people who will tell the VIP clients to come in. Right? Oh my gosh, this person is so amazing. Tonya Hofmann, she's so brilliant. So you get them, and that person goes in there like, oh my gosh, I love this building. They go into your elevator, they ride up to the VIP palace, right? The penthouse. The doors open, they're so excited, they're ready for your VIP experience. They're ready to spend a hell of a lot of money with you, and they open the doors and there's no furniture. Some of y'all don't even have sheetrock. Okay? There's no VIP experience. It's about developing a world that's multi-layered. And I know a lot of y'all are going, well, I just sell mortgages, or I just sell real estate. You can do more and make more money. And a lot of people want to forget about the $1 to $50 range people. And I'm saying it's brilliant. You can make hundreds of thousands of dollars from $25 a month. I know, because I do it. So start thinking of other ways. And when you do something, do not do anything unless you're going to make some money off of it. Right? Because there's too many of y'all that do things that don't equal out to sales. Oh, I'm marketing. I'm promoting myself. Okay, you're promoting yourself into the poorhouse. It's got to turn into money. So stop. So what's your courtyard look like? And then what does your building look like? Now, speaking, market, grow your business. Why? Because you utilize other people's people. Patty just said she had a big list. Wouldn't you like to be in front of her people if that's your target market? I send out 85,000, 90,000 emails a month. My list is a lot of what y'all need. Now, if you come up and you say, Tonya, I'd love to utilize your list. I say no. But if it's a symbiotic relationship, I'm like, hey, Mark, maybe there's something that we can do together, right? Hey, Scott, maybe there's something we can do together, and you collaborate. Perfect. Maybe you're not ready for a huge introduction to yourself. Maybe you've got 20 people in your database. Find someone else with 20 people. Y'all do a webinar, a teleconference, something super easy, a little seminar in your home. You go from 20 people to 40 people. You double overnight. Is that brilliant? There's nothing more brilliant. So when you start utilizing other people's people, and they're utilizing your people, how fast can you build recognition? And what's great about speaking, say it takes you, everybody's, closure rate is different, but say it takes you 20 strangers. So you're going to go have coffee with 20 strangers to get to one sale. Okay, let's just take an easy number. It would take you an entire week of going to Starbucks to go through those 20 people. That's a lot of money, drive time, time away, food, all those things. But if you talk to 20 people in 1 hour, boom, you find one person in 1 hour. Right? And then the other 19 people, okay, 2 people don't like it. So the other 17 people, you put them into your courtyard. And then they may be ready, because they may just not have been ready right then for what you have. I went to an event in April just to hang out, because they were all my target market, with another speaker who was putting on an event. I didn't speak or anything, I just networked the entire 4 days. I just closed a huge account last week. So it's not about instant, it's about when they're ready and continuing the conversation. And what really happens a lot of times to most people is you have an employee mindset and you don't even know it, right? Because an employee mindset says, I'm going to go do something, I'm going to get paid, I'm done, I go home. An entrepreneurial mindset, like what I've developed my entire life, is, oh my gosh, I'm going to meet these fabulous people, I'm going to bring them into my world, I'm going to get to know them, I'm going to help them, I'm going to connect with them, I'm going to give them things and products and ideas that they've never heard about before, and I'm going to keep them in my life forever. And at some point, they may want to buy something from someone I know, and maybe even over and over again. Which mindset do you have? Because an employee mindset is always about the next thing, called one-off selling. And that is what wears most entrepreneurs out, is they're like, oh my gosh, oh yay, I made a sale. Oh, I gotta go out and make another one. Oh yay, I made a sale. Oh, I gotta go out and make another one. It's tough. Oh. And stop trying to be perfect. I know that's a hard one. Do you really have any recovering perfectionists in here? That is still recovering. Perfection will kill you and your business. It will. When I started realizing the whole speaking thing, I started watching all of the $1 million speakers. People were making a whole lot of money, and I saw their unedited videos. And I'm like, huh, they just said, They just messed up on a word. They just changed some things around. You could tell they didn't know what to say next. Wow. And they're making $1 million, and they screw up? Why am I trying to be perfect? If you send out an email and there's a there instead of a there, do you think they understand what you were trying to say? But you got the email out. I have a lady who bought into an email system that we do, and this was 2.5 years ago, and she hasn't sent out an email yet. Oh, Tonya, I'm still tweaking. 2.5 years she could have been closing sales. So stop trying to make everything perfect. And action will always lead to action. So if you want to make some money, what action today are you going to take? So a lot of times people are like, Tonya, how do I speak? How do I get speaking gigs? And it's very easy. Create your own. Because then people are going to hear you speak, they're going to be impressed, and they're going to want to have you come and speak. Because you created action. Now in 2010, when I was an international speaker, how did I do that? And I'm going to be really honest with you. I wanted to be an international speaker really bad that year. So I put on my own event internationally. Right? Boom, I'm an international speaker because I created it myself. What did that turn into? More international speaking. So if you want something done, go do it. Don't wait for someone else to create the environment for you. And the speaking world has incredibly changed, so if you want to know how it's changed, let me know. But it's not about getting paid to speak anymore, employee mindset. It's more about the entrepreneurial mindset. And it's called investment speaking. So you're investing in your time, your money, your effort, because it's marketing for your business. It makes total sense. I love transforming lives. I know you do. That's why my tagline is changing the world from the front of the room. That's what the Public Speakers Association is all about. It's about the business part of speaking. Okay? Because I already know you have a great voice. It may tremble. It may forget its words. But who cares? No one wants to be perfect. So, I have a special offer today. You can win a membership to the Public Speakers Association. There's a little forms. It's yellow. Fill out the forms. Give it to me at the end. I'm going to draw today so that you can have an opportunity to be a part of the Public Speakers Association. But if you don't want to wait, and if you win, you don't have to pay, you get 50% off of any membership level. So it's normally $50 and $100 a month. It drops it down to $25 or $50 a month. And you can come and talk to me about what that actually looks like. Also, we have our huge conference coming up in San Antonio. The top trainers in the world who can actually help you in your business, not just in speaking, but Patty's going to really dive into more than what she just talked about here. It's more about the list building, right? You get a free VIP pre-conference ticket plus $100 off. And if you're interested in vendors or sponsors, I'll give you a discount on that too. So come and talk to me about that. I love to get to know you. It's about collaboration, connections, and helping each other. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Tonya. All right, appreciate that. All right, guys. What do you think about that? Being purposeful, being specific, right? Great message. And tying in is great how we've never really all heard all of our messages, and I think they're all going to tie in very well together. So really appreciate that. We're going to take a 15, it's actually a 5-minute break, and then our sponsor, Scott Parsons, is going to come and talk. So we're going to basically break out for about 15 minutes, and you guys can stretch your legs, get to shake some hands, and but when Scott gets back up, please honor his time as sponsor. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Get up and wander around.